If you're in front of your computer and it's a PC, I want you to press the scroll lock key located in the upper right corner of your keyboard and see what happens. Nothing happens, right? I was recently wondering what this key is for. I've had it in front of me for the last 25 years and it just occurred to me that I've not pressed it once in my life. So I looked it up and it turns out that IBM, the original producer of PC keyboards, in their documentation describes this key as inactive. Strangely enough, all other keyboard producers don't know the purpose of this key either. There's a PC Magazine interview online from 1983 with a keyboard manufacturer executive where he is asked about the purpose of the key, and his answer is, "I don't know, but we put it on our keyboard too." And this reminded me of an experiment where scientists put 5 monkeys in a cage with a few bananas on top of a ladder. It's difficult to trace the origin of that experiment, and whether it is true or not is disputable. But the story goes that every time a monkey would go up the ladder, the scientists showered the cage and all the monkeys in it with cold water. Monkeys quickly took action against any member of the group who wanted to go up the ladder by pulling it down and beating it. After some time, no monkey would dare to climb the ladder. Then, scientists replaced one of the monkeys with a new member. And the first thing this monkey did was, of course, trying to get the bananas from the top of the ladder. It would get dragged down and beaten, and after some time it stopped going up the ladder, not knowing or even witnessing the reason for it. One by one, the scientists replaced all the remaining monkeys with a new monkey, until they reached a point where no monkeys knew the reason why they're not allowed to climb up the ladder to get the bananas, yet they would still beat up any monkey who wanted to try and do it. This video is not just about monkeys and keyboards, because a scientist called Solomon Asch conducted an experiment in which an individual was unknowingly surrounded by subjects giving incorrect answers to simple questions. When this individual was confronted with a group of people unanimously giving incorrect answers, they also provided wrong answers in 1/3 of all questions, sacrificing truth and logic for the impression of conformity and not looking foolish or standing out. In my journey through human life, I quickly learned that rules that society follows have very little to do with logic and productivity, and have more to do with maintaining the status quo, keeping things as they are by not questioning reality. I also learned quickly that to have freedom and enjoy life, I need to question and disobey these social norms and rules that make no sense. It turned out there's a lot of them. In fact, it is almost everything, and in this video I'll talk about the importance of questioning every element of your life. I'll start from explaining how the obedient mindset develops. First, we decide whether an action is right or wrong by receiving punishment for making the wrong decision. Once we grow older, it is rewards that start deciding about the outcome of our actions. This is where most people stop when it comes to developing moral standards. It is believed that only about 10% of us go to the next stage, in which our consciousness and ethical principles become our guide, and we learn that there are laws and mechanisms that are more important than social obedience. From my experience, I can tell you that this number in practical terms is much smaller. It's maybe not even 5% of rebel creators, surrounded by 95% of obediently compliant servants of the social structure. As Martin Heidegger said, the most thought-provoking thing in our thought-provoking time is that we're still not thinking. It seems that most of our reasoning still consists of coming up with excuses for maintaining the status quo and reinforcing our already existing beliefs. And all of this starts early in school, where we're being pressured to accept everything offered to us as the ultimate truth without ever questioning or having the time to check the validity of presented statements. That means that we're being subconsciously programmed to accept authority as it is, while simultaneously being incentivized to never question those who offer us the information. It's caution in place of adventure, safety in place of exploration, passive, obedient, illogical thinking in order to either impress or please someone. This quickly turns into a self-defense mechanism that we use to protect our newly cultivated ego. We go along with the consensus not to be ridiculed or considered crazy. Eventually, we subconsciously start filtering out all the information that we don't perceive as fitting the inner narrative, and we start calling this set of prejudices and illusionary misinformation knowledge. And then we go to great lengths trying to keep consistency in our beliefs not matching the outside reality. Once an internal opinion is met with a strong contradictory external evidence, we experience what's called a cognitive dissonance. We're faced with the dilemma of admitting being wrong or creating a bigger lie to cover up the first lie. And this is the process in which the society becomes irrational, illogical, and immune to facts. All of this for a simple reason that going with the consensus is less painful than challenging it. Only because everyone thinks the same doesn't make them right. It makes them victims of psychophobia, the fear of thinking and finding validation of false beliefs in commonly shared opinions by majority of society. Those who have the courage to call into question the accuracy of commonly accepted beliefs are risking encountering violent opposition and anger from those who blindly subscribe to conventionally accepted lies and fallacies. And this is where you will discover the dangers of obedience. And one of the biggest ones is that believing in nonsense leads to committing atrocities, be it directly or indirectly. If you believe in the lies of others, you will allow them or even commission them to commit crime on your behalf, as the evil of the world exists because of the sanctions we give to it. The moral cowardice of not opposing evil is as bad as committing evil acts. It might be actually worse. Spreading of evil results from intellectual vacuum. It happens when people's minds become so corrupted that they fail to follow the most basic human principles. Evil wins by default as ignorance breeds chaos. And the ultimate ignorance is the rejection of something you know nothing about, yet refuse to investigate, as Wayne Dyer once said. Unless you're open to different points of view, you will enslave yourself to potentially disastrous external ideas you refuse to question. Ignorance is not the biggest enemy of knowledge. It's actually the illusion of knowledge. Operating by habit is not living. It's merely performing. There's nothing wrong or shameful in finding flaws and errors in your own beliefs. What's important is to never stop questioning. Remember that you were equipped in curiosity for a reason. There's an incredible value in questioning your life and the reality around you. The beginning of wisdom is found in doubting because it allows us to ask questions, and questions lead us to discovering the truth. It's also a test of your moral character when you go against the consensus with unpopular but truthful opinions. It is true that those who take a stand are sometimes wrong, but those who fail to take a stand are always wrong, because it's better to understand a little than to misunderstand a lot. People go to great lengths to be accepted, trying to create personality that can be loved or desired. But it's only a person who builds a strong sense of self based on accurate beliefs and understanding of the world who can be loved and give back genuine love to others. There is no other way around it. Skepticism and disobedience will let you stay healthy or even stay alive. Otherwise, you will fall into the hands of so-called health and nutritional professionals who believe the same absurdities as the rest of the disease-ridden society. But one of the most important aspects of questioning the reality around you is the fact that it is responsible for human progress. Aristotle said long time ago that intuition is the source of all scientific knowledge. If you look at history, you will see that all human development, both moral and technological, has been the work of those who doubted the current state of affairs. Questioning, disobedience, and rebellion are human original virtues, and these are the things that have been moving the world forward. Whether a scientist or a philosopher, we all have the same job here, which is to discover the universal laws on which everything around us is built. Without disobedient thinking and independent creation, there would be no technological progress, no moral standards, and there would be no spiritual awakening. The future of mankind is in the hands of your rebellious curiosity. Of course, I did not arrive at all of those conclusions by simply pressing one key on my keyboard, because it's about so much more than just this key. Just look at all the hysteria regarding the dangers of plastic straws in our seas and oceans. How many straws can be made of this one plastic key? In my opinion, at least 5, and according to my research, more than 2 billion PC keyboards were produced in the last 40 years. That's the equivalent of 10 billion plastic straws that were made completely for no reason. And if you look closely, there is another key next to scroll lock that you've probably never pressed either, the pause break key. Plus, a lot of these keyboards are equipped in LED lights connected to those keys. That's an enormous amount of plastic ending up in landfills and oceans, and no one is talking about it. And it's not just a matter of wasting resources. Software companies in their programs come up with complicated key shortcuts, completely ignoring the existence of a key with no assigned function. To open a task manager on your PC, you need to press 3 keys simultaneously: Shift, Control, and Escape. This shows our tendency to build structures on pointless systems that we're unconsciously a part of. You might think that this is just a trivial matter of one key, but what about the politics you're governed by? Have you ever questioned if democracy is the best system we can have? Have you ever questioned why your name is written in capital letters on your birth certificate the same way as it is written on your gravestone? What about money? Have you ever wondered why you work for 4 months every year for free, lining the pockets of strangers with your hard-earned money? What about our history? Did you ever question why our technological development over millennia actually goes backwards? Asking these questions is not even a matter of being smart or having any unique talents. It's all about being passionately curious and staying with problems longer. It's simple as that. You don't judge a man by his questions, but by his answers. But you want to know the true power of disobedience? In Solomon Ash's experiment, the most convincing part of it was the unity of the group giving wrong answers. But what was even more powerful was an individual offering independently a correct answer. That act of courage highlighted the awakening power a brave, disobedient individual has on the rest of society. Only a few are capable of forming independent opinions, but even fewer are actually capable of expressing them. Don't worry about what you don't know and what you can't explain. Don't think about the reason why you're questioning. It's important that you never stop questioning. For a human mind truly to go forward, evolve, and become complex, it needs to go backwards and deconstruct into the most basic elements. It is not about acquiring new knowledge, but about losing the illusion of the knowledge one already has. To get enlightened, one needs to immerse into darkness first. Love, Peter. Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel.